everyone, thanks so much for watching today. Today I have another tag video for you. I figured I should do a few of these just so that you guys can get to know me. So I thought I would do, the first tag I would do is going to be the About Me tag. So this is just 25 questions, sort of runs the gamut of as far as personal questions, makeup related questions, life questions, all of it. So I'll just jump right into it because I don't want this video to be like eons long. So the first question is, do you have a middle name? I do. My middle name is Brenna. It's kind of a unique name. I really like it. Oftentimes it is confused with Brenda, which I don't like that name at all, so apologies if you're named Brenda. But yeah, so that's the only downside to it, is that it's usually mixed up, but it's actually spelled Brenna. And I've seen very few people in my life who have that name, and so I like the fact that it's original, so good job, parentals. Second question is, what is your favorite subject in school? Well, I'm not in school anymore. I've been graduated now for 4 or 5 years. But my favorite subject when I was in school was history. I was a history major. I also majored in psychology when I was in university. So those are my top two. In particular, I really loved American history, even though I'm Canadian. Canadian history is kind of boring, if I'm being honest. American history is really exciting. So is British history. I like British history as well. So those would be my favorite subject. And then one of my favorite things when I was in school was I actually got to write an essay in my it was called pop culture class about Disney and its sort of impact on the last 50-60 years of our lives. So that was pretty cool to be able to write an essay about Disney. What is your favorite drink? Oh, that's a really open question. I love coffee and lattes, particularly right now. I love the pumpkin spice lattes because they're back. As far as like drinks, alcoholic drinks, I'm a wine drinker. I just drink wine, so that's what I would say. White wine, probably. Coffee and white wine. What's your favorite song at the moment? I actually really like the new Taylor Swift song, Shake It Off. When I first heard it, I was like, this is crazy. Taylor Swift is rapping, like, this is gonna be such a fail. But it's actually really grown on me, and I may have had a dance party in my basement to the song last week, just saying, with my dog, who was not nearly as into it as I was. What would you name your kids? Oh, that's a tough question. I try and like bug my husband about that because I think he should have an opinion on it as well. But he's a boy, and boys don't care about those things and have not been planning them their entire lives the way girls have. Some people say these are weak names, but I really like names that end in like vowels. So like, I really like the name Kelsey. I like Abigail. I really like that name for girls. For boys, I like Dylan a lot. Luke, those kinds of names. So something like that. I don't know for sure what I would name my kids. Participate in any sports? At the moment, like competitive sports, no. I do work out quite a bit. I go running, and do weight workouts and things like that, but that's mostly solo working out. I'm actually starting a class tomorrow with some of my coworkers. It's a pure barre class. I've never tried that kind of working out before, so we'll see how that goes. My balance is known for being pretty heinous, so I don't know if I'll do very well. Favorite book? Oh, that's hard. My favorite book definitely when I was growing up was called A Handful of Time, and it's by the author Kit Pearson. Lately, I would say my favorite books are the Hunger Games series and the Divergent series. I like those books quite a bit. But I definitely should read more. I never read anymore. I think that was one of the downsides to being a history major, is that they make you read all these old school boring books, and it kind of turns you off reading. So I need to get back into it. Favorite color? For the longest time, most of my life, my favorite color was purple. I still really like purple, but I would say that I actually really like green a lot now, like in particular teal green. My bridesmaids' dresses at my wedding were that color. I don't know, that color's just kind of grown on me in the last couple of years. So favorite animal? That would be a tough call for me because obviously I love dogs. I have a dog. I would adopt all the dogs in the world if I could, and my husband would let me. I'm trying to convince him to let me get a second dog, but it's not going so well. And also horses. I rode horses competitively when I was younger, and if in a perfect world, I would love to have my own horse and like live on a farm and have horses around all the time, but it's not so realistic for my everyday life, but I wish I could get back into it now. Favorite perfume? Tough. I really like, there's one, it's called Just Cavalli by Roberto Cavalli. I really like that one. And there's also one by, I can never say her name, Lolita Lampica or something. And it's in, I don't even know what, it's it's actually called, but it's in kind of a purplish blue bottle, and it is beautiful. I love that perfume. Favorite holiday? Oh, that's easy. That would be Christmas. I absolutely love Christmas. I love Christmas more than my birthday. I love Christmas more than anything else, just because, you know, everybody likes to get gifts and everybody's happy, and, you know, there's this whole season of preparation. So it's fantastic. Christmas is hands down my favorite. That's easy. Have you graduated high school? Oh, heck yeah. Over 10 years ago. I think my 10-year reunion was last year. So I am old. No, I'm not that old, but I'm 20, just turned 29. So yeah, it's been a while since I was in high school. Have you ever been out of the country? If so, how many times? I have been out of the country quite a few times. I've been to Europe twice. And I've been down south in like the Caribbean quite a few times. Just for, you know, week-long trips here and there, and I have another one scheduled actually over Christmas this year. And I've been to the States. I probably go once every 2 years on average. I wish I got to go more, but now I live in Calgary and the closest state is 8 hours away, so it's not so practical anymore. But yeah. So, do you speak any other languages? Not well. I did have to, you know, going to school in Canada, you have to learn, at least in Ontario where I grew up, you have to learn French, and you have to stay in French, I think, until grade 9 or 10. So I was in French until then, and then I stopped taking it and promptly lost everything I learned. My sister is quite a good French speaker. She lived in Paris for a year. That was one of the Europe trips that I went on. So she can speak French really well, and she likes to write me emails that are entirely in French just to prove a point, reinforce the fact that I don't understand what she's talking about. She thinks that's hilarious. But yeah, no, I don't speak any other languages other than English. I wish I did. How many siblings do you have? So I have 2 siblings. I have a younger sister who's a year and a half younger than me. She's 27. And I have a younger brother who is 5 years younger than me. So he's 24, just turned 24. They both live in Ontario. What is your favorite store? Sephora. Duh. Sorry, I don't mean to be sarcastic, but literally I could go to Sephora every day of the week and find something new to buy, or MAC, one of the two of them, but I would say Sephora more so than anything. Favorite restaurants? I don't really have a favorite restaurant, but I have a favorite type of food, so I would go wherever they happen to serve this food, and that is sushi. I've become obsessed with sushi over the last 5 or so years. Tried it and I was like hooked, like big time. So I would have sushi. It's like Sephora. I would have sushi in Sephora every day for the rest of my life if I could. You like school? Well, I haven't been in school for a while. I kind of miss school now, but it's nice to have, you know, quote unquote a real job and be able to, you know, afford a house and things that you want and not, you know, be sort of a starving student anymore. So I don't really miss that aspect of being a student. Favorite YouTuber? I would have to say Rach Loves. She was the first beauty YouTuber I ever started watching. I think it was because, I don't know, I just could relate to her, and she was Canadian. She was around the same age as me. I just think she's gorgeous and has such a great outlook on life. So if you haven't seen her channel, which I can't imagine you haven't, I will link it below, but she is fantastic and I highly recommend her videos. Favorite movie? I think, I've always said for most of my life, Now and Then is my favorite movie. So I'm not sure if you've seen that. It's a pretty old movie, but it's a sort of a great coming of age story of a group of 4 girls. And I've always loved that movie, so that would be up there. And it has a great soundtrack, and it has like all the 90s like hottie boys like Devon Sawa, who I just thought was so dreamy back then. Favorite TV show? Big Bang Theory, I really like. Criminal Minds I really like. My husband can't understand how I'm terrified of watching horror movies in the theater, but I will watch Criminal Minds. I'm kind of on the last couple of years I've been on a Criminal Minds CSI type kick. I really like those shows lately. God forbid anything like that would ever happen to me. I'd be completely useless if I was ever in one of those scenarios that they put on those shows. But I find it, interesting to watch. So those would probably be my top 2. And Big Bang Theory I really like just because it's so, funny, and there's smart comedy. And my husband's actually a physicist, so a lot of the people on the show are similar to people we know in our lives. So it's really funny to watch it and be like, oh, it's kind of very truthful actually. PC or Mac? I would say if I had to pick, I'd pick Mac. Right now I have PCs. I also have an Android phone. I actually really like my Android phone. I don't know if I'd switch to an iPhone, but as far as computers, I'd probably choose a Mac. What kind of phone do you have? I just answered that. So I have an Android phone. It's a Google, what are they called? S3 or S4? I think it's an S4. Google, is that what they're called? I think so. But that's what I have. It's a phone that I use through work. So I also use it as my personal phone. How tall are you? I am very tall. I am about, I don't know, I'm between 5'10 and 5'11. So I'm pretty tall. I have kind of been insecure about it for some of my life. For half my life, my sister was taller than me, so that gave me a complex. And then when I finally got taller than her, it suddenly like dawned on me that I'm kind of a gigantor and I can't wear heels. Well, I can, but I just look extra tall. So I rarely wear heels. And so it's a bit of a challenge sometimes being tall, but I'm trying to learn to love it. And I'm trying to learn to wear heels more and sort of rock the tall, confident person. But my husband's only like 6 feet, 6'1", so if I wear heels, a lot of times I'm taller than him, which I kind of feel awkward about, especially if we go out for dinner or something. So I tend to be a flats person. So anyways, that's the end of these 25 questions. I hope you liked this video and it gave you a little bit more history about me and my life. If you've done this tag or will do it in the future, feel free to link it down below. I'd love to see your videos too. I always find these very interesting. You get to learn a lot about people that you may not see in their YouTube beauty type videos. But anyways, yeah, I hope you liked it. Thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time.